We've all heard the reports over the last few months that Jon Favreau isn't happy at Lucasfilm. Those reports came out even before Gina Carano was fired, so you can imagine that the Gina Carano firing only made things worse. But the reports of this civil war that's happening between Jon Favreau's faction and Kathleen Kennedy's faction are really heating up right now, and the new details that are being reported on this civil war make it seem like it's getting really ugly. And I have a few reports to show you today from Overlord DVD, who claims he did an interview with a reliable source who has some info about this Lucasfilm civil war and the role that Kathleen Kennedy and the role that Jon Favreau are playing in it. So let's get into the first report. Kathleen Kennedy reportedly orchestrated the firing of Gina Carano to sabotage Favreau and Filoni's universe because she knew Gina was going to play a big role in that universe. This is something that's been talked about. This is something that's been rumored and reported for a long time. We know that Gina Carano was going to play a huge role in the Filoniverse going forward. Not only was she going to play a big part as a side character in a bunch of different shows, but she was also going to get her own spin-off show in the Rangers of the New Republic. And the firing of Gina Carano actually has a huge connection to the Luke Skywalker show that's been rumored recently, and it looks like that show is actually going to happen. We'll talk about that connection later on in the video, but the reports about that show are actually all starting to come together now, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. She tried to blame the firing of Gina Carano on Favreau, making her look bad in the Disney higher-ups' eyes. So the source that Overlord DVD talked to claimed that Kathleen Kennedy blamed the firing of Gina Carano on Jon Favreau. She orchestrated the entire thing to get Gina Carano fired and then tried to say that Jon Favreau was actually behind it, which obviously just made her look like a power-grabbing idiot in the eyes of the Disney higher-ups, because anyone could see from a mile away that Jon Favreau didn't want Gina Carano fired. He doesn't care about the politics stuff. He doesn't care about the agenda that Lucasfilm has. He doesn't care what his actors and actresses are tweeting on Twitter. He just wants to make good content, and Gina Carano was allowing him to do so and was going to play a big part in his content in the future. So it's obvious that Jon Favreau didn't want Gina fired, and the Lucasfilm higher-ups can see that too. They're not stupid, Kathleen. These Lucasfilm Civil War rumors have been going crazy recently, but this isn't a new thing. This has been going on ever since Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni started having success at Lucasfilm, and over time we get to put more and more pieces together at what's actually going on in there. And it seems like every time we get a new report, every time we get a new piece to the puzzle, it makes everything look a lot more ugly, and it makes Kathleen Kennedy look a lot worse every single time we get new info. The fact that Jon Favreau decided to delay Mando until 2023 has Disney extremely worried, because we all know that Mando is the flagship show for Disney Plus. Yes, they have a lot of Star Wars shows. Yes, they have a lot of Marvel shows coming out soon on Disney Plus, and they're also airing some Marvel shows at the moment, but The Mandalorian is the main draw to Disney Plus right now. Disney Plus would be nothing without The Mandalorian, and that delay had a lot to do with the uncertainty that was created by the firing of Gina Carano. So the new report is that Gina Carano actually wasn't going to play a part in The Mandalorian Season 3, but just the uncertainty made Jon Favreau want to push that series back. Like I said, there's a huge connection to the Luke Skywalker show that we'll talk about later in the video, but the firing of Gina Carano really showed Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni just how disposable their characters are. If they tweet one thing that's a little bit questionable, they can be gone in an instant. So it just creates all this uncertainty, and it makes Jon Favreau want to push Mando back until 2023. And who knows what's going to happen with all the other shows that they're supposed to make before then. They might all get pushed back as well. We could be in big trouble here. Now, WandaVision didn't do as well numbers-wise as they expected it to do, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier is doing awful, adding fuel to the fire that is the Civil War. So this puts more pressure on Kathleen Kennedy to make good content to keep Disney Plus alive, because these Marvel shows are not performing like they expected them to. Like I say all the time, Star Wars is the most powerful IP in the world when done properly, but it hasn't been done properly since Revenge of the Sith. Marvel has been done pretty well the last 10 years. It's going down a dark path now, but in the past it's been done pretty well. So you would think that if the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus do crazy numbers like they did, the Marvel shows would do as good or maybe even better. And I'm sure that's what the Disney investors thought as well, and they're extremely disappointed now, because not only are those shows just not that good, but there's also a lot of people who are extremely mad about the Gina Carano firing who refuse to consume that content, and now the numbers are way down for those shows, putting more pressure on the Star Wars shows of the future. And I have a feeling Kathleen Kennedy is going to continue to ruin not only Star Wars, but she's also going to continue losing Disney Plus and Disney money, and it's not looking too good for Kathleen right now. Source said that the reason Star Wars is going so far down the woke rabbit hole is because Kathleen Kennedy is surrounded by yes women who are falling over each other trying to get a promotion. Now this makes so much sense. That right there tells us why the first thing we learn about every single High Republic character is their sexuality or their gender, and why none of them are straight. It's because all these women are walking around Lucasfilm trying to figure out how they can be more woke than the next woman. And I'm sure it's some men too, but they know Kathleen Kennedy has that woke agenda, and apparently they see it as an easy path to a promotion, and whoever's the wokest gets to get that promotion. That makes so much sense. All these writers, all these social media managers who are pushing these agendas, they're just trying to move up at Lucasfilm, and being woke is an easy way to do so in Kathleen Kennedy's eyes. So it's smart by them to do that. Problem is, it's ruining our content. So once again, all roads lead back to Kathleen Kennedy. This is yet again more confirmation that storytelling is not at the forefront of Lucasfilm, but instead the agenda of appearing as woke as possible. Our problem with Star Wars right now isn't that there's minorities in Star Wars or different genders or different sexes. It's the fact that that's the main focus focus of the story. I can't just go out tomorrow and make a movie that doesn't focus on politics and have it be a huge hit. It's not enough to just not focus on politics. But when you do focus on politics, when you do push an agenda for one side of politics, you alienate half of your fan base at least. When you focus on good storytelling, you don't alienate any of your fan base, and you get to tell a good story, which draws even more fans in. It's a win-win situation. When you push an agenda, not only do you alienate half your fan base, but you're also sacrificing the storytelling to push that agenda, and it's really just a lose-lose. You don't have to play into a certain side of politics to sell a product, especially not in movies or TV. And Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have showed you the template with The Mandalorian. There's no agenda pushed in there. They focus on the storytelling, and people ate it up. But here's where we get to the connection between the Luke Skywalker show and the Gina Carano firing. Apparently, all of this ties in with the Luke Skywalker show that has pretty much been confirmed without Lucasfilm confirming it. So as we all know, ever since Luke Skywalker showed up in the Mandalorian Season 2 finale, everyone has been reporting that a Luke Skywalker show is in the works. But recently, Lucasfilm trademarked Skywalker Academy, making even me, who doubted the Luke Skywalker show would ever actually happen, even I believe in the show happening now. Jon Favreau doesn't want to give any more side character spin-offs because of how disposable they are. If they make one questionable tweet, they're gone in an instant. Why would Jon Favreau want to continue spinning off these side characters like Cara Dune or even Grief Karga? Because if Carl Weathers tomorrow tweets something in support of Gina Carano, he's gone with the snap of a finger, and that just ruins your entire plan of that spin-off show. Why would Jon Favreau continue making spin-off shows of these disposable characters when you can instead make a Luke Skywalker show who is not disposable at all? He's arguably the most important character in all of Star Wars, so it's a very smart move by Jon Favreau, but it's really sad and it's really a shame that he's forced into doing things like that. He's forced into a box creatively because of how political they are. But let me know what you guys think about this Lucasfilm Civil War. For one, do you even think it's a real thing? Do you believe these reports? And for two, who do you think is going to win? Do you think the Disney higher-ups will eventually see that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and their mindset of focusing on storytelling will prevail? Or do you think Kathleen Kennedy is just too connected, too powerful, and she will eventually kick Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni out of there and become the evil overlord that we all fear that she's becoming? Let me know in the comments what you think. If you hate Kathleen Kennedy being the president of Lucasfilm as much as I do, check out my Ruined by Kathleen Kennedy merch linked in the description. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, both of those links will be in the description as well. But thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.